Aloha, what's up everyone, and welcome to a special presentation of Omens, where tonight we're going to be diving into the concept, into the theory that time is speeding up. I'm JayDreamerZ, welcome to my channel. So I've talked about this a lot because it's a very important part of one of the major omens of the apocalypse itself. And I've seen quite a few people make videos about this. And honestly, it's a little disappointing to me because all of these videos that I see other people putting out, they're just making excuse. They're drawing you in by asking the question, is time speeding up? Oh, and everyone who knows time is speeding up is watching the video because they need answers. They want to figure out what's going on and proof and evidence, right? Which is what we're going to cover today. But these videos, they draw you in, and then they say things like, yeah, it just feels like time is speeding up because the coronavirus came and everyone was speeding, and technology and it's making things feel faster, and you're looking at your phones and stuff. No, that's not it. From my perspective, all of this is going to be based on my research, my perspective, but also on science and also on physical proof and prophecies and things that we're seeing and experiencing happening. What's up to everybody in the live chat? Cake Town, I see you in the chat. Robin Hames, Thomas Morgan, good to see you guys. Three body problem, yes. So Mikey, AKB. Listen, in this Netflix movie called Three Body Problem, they're showing all of us our reality. They're showing you what has happened in the past and what is going to happen again in the future. One of the major things that happens is before every apocalyptic event that they show you in Three Body Problem, and they show you a lot, every time before that, some sort of king figure will announce loudly, "Let the days fly past." And then they look up and they see the stars moving around faster and faster, and the sun moves faster and faster. They're showing you reality, which is the luminaries are speeding up. So let's start with that, okay? I don't mean time itself is speeding up, as in how long it takes from, one event or one part of your day to the other. Time itself is the same, but it's the method with which we use to keep track of time. Those methods are speeding up. Our clocks and everything are based off of the movements above us, the movements of the lights above us that we call the luminaries, or that used to be called the luminaries in the sky. Those luminaries were put into place as a clock so that we could pay attention to what time we are living in, how close we are to the next cycle, to the next reset. So I'm going to do a lot of screen sharing. I'm going to put some stuff on screen here for you, and let's begin the presentation. Good to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yeah, it is going to get crazy. You're right. All right. Now, let me share my screen here. There's me and there's everybody else. All right. So, time speeding up. Now, I like that there's a YouTuber. If you want to check out this channel, it's called Residue for Remnant. And it's called Mandela Effect is Time Speeding Up. So, listen to this guy. What he did is he took this video of an old grandfather clock from, I think he says it's about 10 years ago, but keep in mind it's an old grandfather clock, right? And he's counting the seconds, because you can hear it counting the seconds, and he's clocking it against the clock on his phone. Let's check this out.
With these Mandela effects, they're saying time might have even sped up. So I want to do a little test here with this old grandfather clock. This recording on YouTube is from like 10 years ago. So I'm going to test it with my stopwatch. Now it should be, if I click it on the second, for 1 second, it should be exactly 1 second. Again, it's hard to do it exact, but let's see what it comes out to be. Now, I was pretty close, I think.
Okay, so hold on. Let me jump in here real quick. Now, he clicked it, timing it along with the grandfather clock, and he's at 1 second and 34 milliseconds. I believe that is, okay? 1.34 seconds. That's huge. And I've heard, since I've done my videos, I've heard a few detractors and people say, oh, it's just a fraction of a second. It's hardly any time if it has sped up at all, because even academics, I'll show you in a bit, admit that time is speeding up. But they say it's barely noticeable. It's over millions of years or whatever. No. 1.34 seconds adds up every day, every week, every month, and every year. It adds up to a lot of time chipped away at our clock.
About 1.3. Guys, that's way off. It shouldn't be that much. It should not be that much. Let's try it again. Let's try it one more time here. I'll try to do as exact as I can. Yep, 1.28, so about an average of 1.3. Guys, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, that is a lot. So 1.3 seconds, okay? Now, stack that up over a decade, over a century. It's a bunch of time missing, which basically equates to about a third of the day of what it used to be. So instead of 24 hours, it's more like 16 hours in a day, in an actual day. So let's move on from that. That's a guy who's actually testing it out. I tested it out. Okay, I've shared this with you guys before that I had a stove clock that wasn't connected to anything, and then I timed it at the same time as my clock on my phone, which was connected to the internet. And I let years pass, and there was a huge difference. Over time, my stove clock got further and further back in time. Some people, there's always going to be arguments. Some people are going to say, oh, well, sometimes the batteries or sometimes this or that. No. I'm telling you, there's lots of evidence to support this. Let's go to our next piece of evidence, which is Ethel Caterham, who was born August 21st, 1909, aged 115 years old as of April 30th, 2025, this year. Look at this woman. Look at her. Take a good hard look, okay? People don't, in this day and age, people don't look at other people's faces that much. You know what I mean? It's like they're afraid of eye contact or something. Look at her face, okay? She's allegedly 115 years old. Now, let me show you another picture. Look at this woman. Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. Okay, now, I don't know. You guys can guess if you'd like to in the chat. How old do you think this woman is? Okay, I'll give you guys a moment to think of a number. Keep in mind, this is Ethel. Where's Ethel? 115. This is what 115 looks like, okay? Here's another woman. Very similar, same kind of wrinkles and stuff in the similar places and stuff. I picked these two women out purposefully. The reason behind my purpose is because I knew this woman. This is my great-great-grandmother, okay? Her last name is Dinkle. Sandy, we called her Grandma Sandy. But in this picture, she was about, I don't know exactly, but according to my mother, she was about 87, okay? About 87 years old, give or take a year or two, okay? But 87 looks exactly the same physically as far as all the different wrinkles and stuff go as this woman. The hair is different, obviously, you know, dyeing their hair and all that type of stuff, but it's the same. I look at the woman and I'm like, wow, this woman, 115 years old, has similar appearance as my own great-grandmother did before she died. And she didn't even reach 100. She died at like 96 or something like that. But trust me, right before she died, she looked more like that, okay? So this is called a centenarian, somebody that lives past 100 years old or past a century. Now let's do one more. You guys see this woman? Hold on, let me do this. Let's do this one. Grade out the dude's face here. All right, now let's take a guess. How old do you think this woman is? It's an older picture. This is going back, okay? This is back in, this is about 1968, okay? Let me take a look at the chat. I'm going to jump out of the way so you can take a good hard look. You guys guess how old do you think this woman is right here, okay? Here, I'll make it a little smaller so you can see the whole picture. There she is. Okay, how old do you think this woman is? Let me jump over to the chat real quick and see if we have any guesses. Let's see. Lex138 says 25. We got 30. 40. 28, 24. 17. 59. Wow. 19. Okay, cool. 22. Well, there's you guys' numbers are kind of all over the place, so that's fine. I'll just speak from my own perspective. Okay, let me jump back to my picture here. This one. Okay, cool. It's a little confusing when I showed the first picture because you can see the guy's face. The guy is actually way older than the girl is. Okay, so I try to blur out his face in this picture right here because it kind of throws you off, right? This woman right here is my grandmother who passed away when she was about 27, give or take a year, but probably about 27 years old. Okay. To me, where am I? Let me jump back in here. To me, she looks way younger than 27. Okay. This is my grandmother. She looks way younger. She looks like she's 18, somewhere around there. Okay. But that's me personally. Okay. Now let's take a look at some other examples. I'm going to jump out of the way again. Now you got, it looks like Kim Kardashian or somebody over here who is 40 years old in this picture, allegedly. Now, also, I just want to preface this. I didn't double check any of these figures or numbers. Some of these I've seen before and I have double checked them. Some are new, but it's not all of them have to be perfect. Okay. They're just visual examples. You can feel free to go do your own research, look at pictures of people in the past and compare them with the same age people today. And you'll find, I'm sure, the similar thing. So these people on the left, 40 years old over here, 40. And then this is 40 today over here. Younger looking, right? Yes. Now, 49 back then versus 49 now. Look at Wilford Brimley, man. This guy was like the epitome of an old man. And he's 49. Then you got this guy, Ant-Man, right? 49, looks way younger. You got these two. This is 21 years old versus 21 years old. 21 years old a long time ago looked much older. You got Mr. Miyagi versus Danielson over here. Mr. Miyagi at 52. Danielson, when he's much older, at 57, looking younger. 18 a long time ago versus 18 now. 18 back then looked older. They looked more mature. Some people will argue, I'm sure. Listen, people are going to tell you all kinds of stuff. They're going to say, oh, it's sunscreen. Oh, it's advancements in medicine. Oh, it's the styles of hair or the clothing that they wore or whatever. It's not. Okay? It's not. It's they carry a certain maturity about them. They look older physically. I'm not just talking about the way they carry themselves. I'm talking about the way that they look. Like just judging somebody, okay? Instantly, just by checking them out. Here is 20 years old back then versus 20 years old now. You see the difference? And people had mustaches and beards and stuff when they were in high school back then. Okay, you don't see too much of that now. Now, if you see it, it's like people have some stubble or something, but not full on like this guy. All right, let's check out another example. 17 back during yesteryear versus 17 today. The 17-year-old today looks like more of a child than a grown woman. This woman looks like she's 27, 25, even maybe 24, but I wouldn't even go younger than that. She looks older. This one says 1940, my granddad, 17 years old in this photograph. 17. Can you believe that? 17 years old. The guy looks like he's 20, I don't know, 26 to 28, somewhere around there is my guess, okay? All right, cool. Let me jump back in. So that's one evidence. That's one hardcore piece of evidence that we have is being able to compare and contrast pictures of people and their aging from a long time ago to today. I think I passed the Centenarian thing. Let me share that with you real quick. All right. So this is a graph of Centenarians, right? It says Centenarians are becoming more common. You see that? The number of people worldwide who are 100 years old or older. Look all the way back. It started to increase around the 70s. around 1970, it started to just take off. As you can see right here, way up high, right? What does that mean? That means that people back before the 70s lived, their years were longer. Their seconds were longer seconds, okay? If you guys have ever tried to count seconds a long time ago when you're playing hide and seek or something, you close your eyes, you count 1,000, 1,000, or 1 alligator, 2 alligator, or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, right? Nowadays, if you try that, you have to really rush. You have to really rush to make it an actual second because the seconds today are faster than the seconds that used to be. So these are the number of centenarians. Now let me show you this chart again and explain it to you. If time is speeding up, or if the clock is speeding up, let me be more clear, okay? Our clock is based on the sun moving in its cycle above us, okay? Which ultimately this means that the sun is moving faster in its cycle. The moon is moving faster. The stars are moving faster in their cycle. So if that's true, then what we would expect to see is exactly what you're looking at. If time speeds up, then people would have their birthdays closer and closer together the further we go forward in time. So people would collect more and more birthdays faster and faster and faster. And it would appear on the outward appearance that they're getting older and older and older, but they're really not, okay? So back in 1970, if you had 1 year, but it was really, to us, more like 1 year and 3 months, you know what I mean? That's going to add up. Tabessa, what's up, Tabessa? High five. All right, so it's more and more birthdays happening faster and faster and faster. And I've heard many people say this, that it feels like birthdays are just, there's no time between birthdays. Like they're happening one after another after another. So are the holidays. So is everything, because it is. All right, sweet. Now let's move on to something else here. Let's talk. Let me check my notes, actually. Let me check my notes. All right. So we talked about Centenarians. We talked about the guy who did the test and my own test as well. Other people have reported their tests to me, right? And I'm going to show you another example at the very end in Back to the Future where it kind of shows us too. Prophecy. Okay. Let us not exclude prophecy from religion to religion across time, okay? Every major religion I've studied, for the most part, has time speeding up as a prophecy. Hold on, let me get to... I'm just going to put like a different picture in the background because this one... Oh, let me just get rid of that. Oh, that's me. Hold on. All right, boom. Let me jump back in. All right, now let me go over these prophecies here, okay? Now, take these with a grain of salt. Make sure you do your own research, etc. This is just a gist, a short list, okay? Now, first and foremost, we need to go into the Bible because Jesus was asked what people should look for to know that the time is getting close to his second coming, which if it's anything like how it's described, it's an apocalyptic event, okay? So it says here, except that those days should be shortened, no flesh would be saved. That's Matthew chapter 24, verse 22, I think. So Jesus talks about the shortening of the days. You can internalize this if you'd like to. That's fine. If you want to internalize it, you want to minimize it, you want to dismiss it as anything but literal, actual shortening of how much time is in a day, you go right ahead. But I'm feeling it. I'm experiencing it every day, including today. Okay? Time is hastening to its end. It is quickening. It is hurrying up. And that's what Jesus said, that unless the days would be shortened, no flesh would be saved. That means it's a huge omen to those who are paying attention to time speeding up, right? The elect, the chosen, the survivors. Goes on in the book of Daniel, it says, and this is speaking of the Antichrist, which I've taught people many times. I equate the Antichrist to the sun, to our sun that is up there right now. And I'll tell you why. And he, the Antichrist, shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given unto his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. That's one interpretation. Some people say half a time or whatever, right? Time times and half a time. Time times and the dividing of time, right? So the dividing of time, that's the shortening of time. That's time being divided or cut short. You know what I mean? And that's in the Bible again. So let me clarify before I forget later on. I believe that the Antichrist is the sun, okay? That the sun is actually going to get hotter. It is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It's getting a little smaller because the daylight that it produces is shrinking, and it's quickening in its movement, and it's changing color. Okay, I'm going to come back to the color changing things, but as it changes color and it goes from yellow to white to blue, it's going to start burning the land. Daylight itself is going to become too hot and start burning things and setting fires and stuff. It will literally cause desolation, which is an abomination that causes desolation or makes things desolate or makes the land desolate. In Enoch, he goes on to say, the years shall be shortened and their seed shall be tardy on their lands. So Enoch calls out the years as being shorter in the time to come. The Dead Sea Scrolls, aka the Damascus document, speaks of a time whenever cycles of time accelerate and the appointed times arrive quickly. The Hopi prophecy, Native Americans, the Hopi elders say during the 4th to the 5th world transition, time will feel like it is speeding. Events will happen closer together. People will feel like daylight is shorter. And they use the phrase, the seasons will move faster, which I believe they are. The Mayan. The Mayan, I'm going to get to the Mayan in a bit, in 2012. In the Mayan Chalam Balam post-classical Maya text, it describes the Katun cycles compressing towards the end of the age. Compressing means shortening, right? Coming together, squishing in on itself. It says time itself will accelerate as the world approaches renewal, used by Maya day keepers to explain why modern years feel shorter. Time will seem to move faster. The year will pass like a month, the month like a week, and the week like a day. Zoroastrian prophecy. In Buddhism, it says, in the latter days, time is gathered up and the world will rush towards its end, meaning move faster and faster before the apocalypse eventually comes. In Islam, I've shared this, some different Islam quotes a couple of times. This one says, the last hour will not come until time passes quickly. A year will be like a month will be like a week will be like a day. The Sibylline oracles, or the Hellenistic prophecy, says the days will be shortened and the years shall hurry. That's the prophecies portion, okay? So, to me, that's just as important as all of the other evidence, because all of these people who entire belief systems have been based upon, right? People who are seen as trustworthy and righteous and speaking for whatever God they believed in, all of them are talking about how time would shorten, right? So let's jump back into academics. Academia says that the earth is spinning faster. I don't even know how that happens. If you ask academics, they'll tell you it's because of the beavers and all the dams that have been made. And then they won't say beavers, but they'll say humans building giant dams or whatever, forgetting all about the millions of beavers across the world that also make dams. But they're going to blame the earth speeding up, the rotation. Why do they say the rotation speeding up? Because that's how they explain the sun moving around faster in the sky. They have to, based on the model they've built. They have to say that the earth is spinning faster now because the sun is actually moving faster around us in the sky. The luminaries are speeding up. The hands on the celestial clock, so to speak, are speeding up. Time is running out. Now, this is good for us because it means the apocalypse is going to actually happen sooner rather than later. And it doesn't happen like this every apocalyptic cycle. It actually goes back and forth between time slowing down and time speeding up every other cycle. So the next cycle we go into after this next apocalypse, when we get towards that apocalyptic cycle, time will actually slow down. The luminaries will slow down. All right, next up. Is time speeding up? Yes, most definitely yes. Not a guess, not a feeling, not, I just kind of felt like time was speeding up because I've been so busy lately, and, the coronavirus just threw us all off and threw off our clocks and technology, and I'm always looking at my phone and I'm doom scrolling, so then I'm like, oh my God, so much time has passed. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about when it feels like time goes faster or slower. Yeah, that can happen. Time can feel like it's going faster or slower. But in general, time itself is going faster. I'd say listen, let's do some calculations. All right, let me bust out my calculator. I'm not the best at math, so I'm gonna try it. Let's go do the calculation with me, and you're free to correct me, okay? But let's take that 1.3 seconds that the guy had originally, right? Multiply 1.3 seconds times 60 to get a minute, right? That's 78 seconds in a true minute. So 78 seconds today would be equal to an actual minute during the 1970s and before. Now, let's multiply that again by 60 so we can get an hour. That's 4,680 freaking seconds, right? Divide that by 60 again, I think, to get how many minutes that would be. 78 minutes. So 1 hour would be 78 minutes. I hope I'm doing this correctly. So if there's 78 minutes today in a real hour, okay, not our hours of the modern world, but the 1970s and before hour was 78 minutes. Probably even longer going further back in time. So that's 1 hour. Let's multiply that by 24, because there's 24 hours in a day, allegedly. Now we do 1,872 divided by 60. 31.2. So 31.2 of our hours should equal 24 hours. I don't know if I'm doing the math correctly. I'm sorry if I mess it up. But you get the point. You could definitely do the math on your own, and I'm quite certain if you go 1.3 seconds and you stack it up, okay? So where was I? So that's 1 day. So 31.2 hours of our time is equal to an actual normal day back before the 70s, okay? So 31.2, that's 1 day. So we have to multiply that by 365, right? By 365, boom. 11,388, and then we have to divide that by 24, I believe, for 24 hours. 474.5. So 474.5 days of today's time is equal to 1 year before the 70s. All right. Damn, I lost it. Okay, I can't do the math. I hate math. So you guys feel free to do the math and put it in the comments. I would love that. I would really appreciate that, and so would other people. Okay, do the math. 1.3 seconds. Stack it up over time and figure out. You know what I mean? The time differential between how fast time is moving today, or our timekeeping, our clocks today, versus how slow clocks used to move back then. And we can start to figure out, what 100 years back then was. 100 years before the 70s, right? To us, a person that was 100 years old back then, they were really like, if we used our modern time, they'd probably be 100 and freaking 30 or something, somewhere around there. Okay, 130, I'm guessing. Okay, I don't know the math that great, but you see what I'm saying, right? More. You can find articles like this all over the place, all across the internet. They won't talk about it on the news a lot, but they say time is changing. The earth is spinning faster. They will lie to you, and they will tell you, oh, it's like a microsecond, and it's only on this 1 day. The earth is just going to speed up on this 1 day. Or like on this day and then this other day and this other day. It doesn't even make any kind of sense why the earth would just randomly decide to just speed up on one of these days, right? I mean, you can make stuff up and force it to make sense if you want to. Next up, earth is spinning faster. Like I said, you can find all kinds of articles like this. Excuse me. All right. Now, what does this mean? Right? What does it mean? Let's just suppose that this is true. Let's suppose that time for us today is going 1.3 times faster than it used to go. based on that 1.3 seconds. Okay. What does that mean for us? That means that if you stack that up, going all the way back to the times when the Mayans first made their calendar and the prophecy of 2012, what does that mean? That means that this is not the year 2025. That means that because our years are going by faster and faster and faster, we're actually further back in time than we thought we were, which means 2012 and the Mayan calendar prophecy has yet to come. It's not 2012 yet. Everybody's out there prematurely celebrating and partying because, oh, we made it. We made 2012 come early. We made 2012 come and go, right? Which is what happened. Humanity made that happen. Nature hasn't made that happen. Nature has a different clock than we do. It is not even 2025 yet, okay? It is not 2012. I'll bet you anything that if I could figure out all the math and stuff, and some of you are geniuses out there, I'm sure you could figure it out. I'm sure you'll see that we're before the year 2012, technically. So 2012 has yet to come. It is in our future. So there's no need to slam on the Mayans and say they got it wrong or that all these doomsday people were off or wrong or whatever. They were wrong because they didn't consider the shortening of the days. Just like all you date setters out there who, you know, or people that follow date setters and they're like, oh, the apocalypse is going to happen in this month, on this day, in the future. You're wrong. You're not considering the shortening of days. And on top of it, the manipulation of time and calendars, right? 297 days of phantom, or 297 years, phantom years, allegedly added to the calendar so that a certain pope could pretend like he reigned during the millennial kingdom. Or 1,000 years possibly added to the calendar so that people could skip the millennial kingdom, etc. And that's just two examples. There's many others. The sun, the moon, and the stars used to be yellow. They used to be yellow. The sun used to be yellow. It's not any longer. It's white with a blue ring around it at midday. Go look. Go take a picture for yourself. It's changing colors. The stars used to be yellow. They're not. They're white. Does anybody notice this? Like I feel, it's like it can drive a person crazy. It can make you feel crazy. Okay, if you're like feel like you're the only person that notices these things. The moon used to be yellow. What does this have to do with time? Right? It has to do with the luminaries. Right? When the luminaries start to change color, it indicates, I don't want to get too deep into this because, well, I guess I could draw it. I don't want to draw it. Listen, I'm just going to explain it because I've drawn it in many other videos, okay? But the light that causes what we call the stars, the moon, the planets, the sun, all of those things, that light has a source above it, which is light that is passing through the firmament, and it is casting points of focus and projections into our sky. When that light above the firmament contracts, it's more focused. When that happens, those points of focus and those projections, they rise up higher in the sky, and the subsequent light that comes from them is also more focused, which means it's hotter, okay, and brighter, and it will shift in its color spectrum, okay? If that light above the firmament is wider, because it's fluctuating, right, which is actually what gives us seasons, if it's wider, then the redistribution of that light after the focal point will be more diffuse and it'll be more spread out, and daytime will last a lot longer, and the color will match. Instead of going into a blue, really hot color, it'll move into a more diffuse red color spectrum. Okay. Sorry if that one's too much, and I'm sorry I'm trying to make you imagine that in your head, but I do have a lot of videos on my playlist where I actually draw it out. I'm not going to draw it out tonight. But my point is, the stars, the moon, the sun changing color are indicative of how tightly they move on their course above us, okay? Sometimes they'll move in a long, slow course, which is a red sun and red stars and red color spectrum up there in the sky. But then over time, as they tighten up, they'll go into a yellow, they'll go into a white, they'll go into a blue, and blue's the last one. It's the blue star Kachina that comes before the end of days in the cycle that we're in right now. That blue star Kachina is the sun. The sun is going to turn fully blue and get hot, and it's going to burn all kinds of stuff. Parents today, this is more evidence, because this is what people say. They'll say, oh, well, it just feels like time's passing faster because you're getting older, and like you've done it all before, blah, blah, blah. Listen, time is passing faster because you're getting older, because the further forward we move in time, aka growing older, the faster time is getting. So older people are starting to notice compared to their youth, right? What's the youth going to compare it to? Fucking nothing. Excuse my language. Sorry. I was cursing a lot in my prior live stream earlier today. But anyways, yeah, what are younger people going to compare it to? Nothing, right? So yes, you are noticing it, but here's the thing. It's moving so fast now that younger people are noticing it. This is what I'm being told from you guys, okay? Many of you out there are parents, and you tell me, my children are telling me, man, it feels like last week went by so fast. Man, it feels like last year went by so fast. When the children start noticing, then you know that there's something of substance there. People say it feels like time gets faster when you're older, because it does. People around the world are saying that time is flying past right now. This is a huge topic around the world. You're all noticing it. I'm going to discuss it. Okay? I'm not going to be silent on this. I'm not going to pretend like it's not happening. I'm not going to dismiss it and blame it on the coronavirus or a pandemic, or technology or any such ridiculous thing. Technology is being used to trick you into thinking that 1 second is still a second. It's not still a second. Okay? That's how we started this program. Let's see. Yeah, it was just Halloween, right? Like it was just Halloween. Now it's November 7th. I do not feel, okay? It's hard to like use your feelings as proof of something, but it's proof to me, okay? And many of you out there, the reason I'm sharing this is because I firmly believe that you're going to resonate with this, right? Halloween was like, in my mind, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 2.5, 3 days ago, somewhere around there, maybe 4 max. But now it's November 7th. It's not right. Too much time too many days have passed. Like, it's pretty, next thing you know, it's going to be freaking Thanksgiving. Next thing you know, it's going to be Christmas. Next thing you know, it's going to be New Year's. And next thing you know, you're going to be like, wow, 2020 was 6 years ago. And it's like, it just happened. You know what I mean? It's not sunscreen. Okay? People don't look younger today because of the miracles of modern science or all of the plethora of Latin named chemicals that are in sunscreen. People need more sunscreen, or think they do these days, because that sun is getting hotter and hotter and starting to burn people faster. That's why they're promoting it. They're trying to forget all about the reality. They're trying to treat the symptom instead of the root, which is knowledge and teaching you guys that the sun is getting hotter and hotter. That focal point up there is getting more and more narrow. And that's why the moon is so damn bright. I just posted pictures on my post section here on my channel of nighttime pictures. No flash. I'm just out there taking pictures with my camera phone. Right? And somebody did make Julie Miller. Hey, thank you. High five. Somebody, I took a picture of the moon. This is besides the point. Just as a segue, or let's just go down a different topic for just a second. Somebody told me that when you use the new Samsung cameras and you zoom into like 100 or whatever and you point it at the moon, that it puts an AI picture of the moon on your live camera. I didn't know that. That blows my freaking mind, and that's messed up. That means I can never take a genuine picture of the moon with my phone, because it'll put an AI moon on there for me to make it look more crisp and better or whatever. That's crazy. That's also another omen, I think. But anyways, the moon is getting ridiculously bright. Go outside tonight. I defy you. I dare you. Go outside, take pictures, look at the moon, take pictures of the moon. See if you can do shadow puppets using the bright and intense and direct, crisp moonlight. Back when I was a kid, moonlight was diffuse. It didn't make crisp, hard shadows. You didn't have silhouettes and crap like that. You just had blurry shadows, okay? So it's not sunscreen. It's not the coronavirus. I can't even believe that I'm hearing other channels say time feels like it's speeding up because of the pandemic and 10 million people who died during the pandemic and all this garbage. It's completely unrelated, okay? You can feel like time is slowing down or speeding up playing basketball. You could feel like that doing all kinds of things, okay? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about hard facts, evidence, the science behind it. Even other things, prophecy, fiction. You know, our fiction just throws back into our face our reality. Fiction is fact in disguise, right? It's not technology. 1 second today is not 1 second back in 1970 and before. It's not the world getting in a big damn hurry. It's not technology. It's none of that stuff. It's not all the distractions or anything. Time is speeding up. And if you don't recognize it, you're going to get caught up in it. That means you're getting less sleep than you used to. Okay? That means your days are slightly shifting every day and you're being thrown off. Your circadian rhythm is being thrown off. Your cycles are being thrown off. And it's causing agitation as well, which is also, we're seeing that manifest in the people and the animals and everything else. It is the luminaries. That is our timekeeping method. Those lights spinning around in that heavenly clock that I call the dome, the firmament above us, right? As it says in the Bible and many other holy writings, right? Those lights are to be used as timekeeping devices. If we base our timekeeping off of those lights and those lights are not faithful and they start going into error, right? And they start speeding up or slowing down or whatever, so does our timekeeping methods. Some of us become like the frog in the pot of water and they slowly turn up the heat, but they're in the water. That's their world. And it's just happening so gradually, they don't notice that they're starting to boil to death. That's happening with the sun right now. I'm telling you right now, it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. The focal point's getting hotter and hotter. It's getting brighter and brighter. I can't even look at the sun anymore. I have to wear sunglasses. I stick my arm out of the car window when I'm driving, and I'm getting burned in seconds. I can feel it microwaving me, right? We are the frogs in the pot as the temperature is rising, as time is quickening. And we would do well to consider the words of those who came before us, especially Jesus, who talks about the quickening of time. We would do well to compare today's timekeeping methods, today's clocks and pictures and stuff, to those of yesteryear. This is shown to us in Back to the Future. So in Back to the Future, Doc sends his dog Einstein on a test run into the future by 1 minute. This clock on the left right here, this one represents the dog's clock, the time traveler, okay? This represents the old clock, the old timekeeping method, because the dog is from the past, okay? This clock represents the modern clock, or the future. Even though they sent Einstein into the future, this is his clock from the past. It's slower than the clock from the present. I mean, I know it's just a movie, but it's not, okay? I'm telling you, it's not. And by the way, if you want more decodes on Back to the Future, check out my playlist, Truth in Media. I think I changed the whole playlist because now I include music and all kinds of stuff. But it's a segment called Truth in Movies. I have decoded at great length and in great detail, just like as I'm speaking now, right? The whole trilogy, Back to the Future Part 1, 2, and 3. You can go check them out. Lots of great breadcrumbs and lots of things to learn. That's my presentation for today. If you have something to contribute, please help everybody else out. Help all of us truth seekers, right? Leave your evidence, leave your own personal testimonies, your stories, leave your time calculations in the comments on this video. Speaking of my videos, I used to make all my omens videos, like every other one would be for members only. They're all going to be open to the public. All of my videos are going to be open to the public. The only ones that are going to be members only are going to be like special on location type videos when I'm like actually out in the world doing stuff and things like that. Okay. But yeah, go check out my playlists. I'm almost done rearranging my playlists and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go check out you guys' comments tomorrow. I'm going to reread them tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, I'm going to be a guest on another person's channel, Electric Gnosis. Shout out to Electric Gnosis. He's invited me to come on to his channel and be a speaker. I've been checking out some of his work and I like what I see. So I'm going to have a chat with him tomorrow. If you or somebody that you know would like me to be a guest to speak about the plasma apocalypse or any of this subject matter in my books or here on my YouTube channel, write me an email. Don't write me an email and recommend I be a guest on some channel. I need to be invited. I'm not going to go invite myself to be a guest on other people's channels. But you can give out my email if you want to other channels, other people. It's JayDreamerZ.guest@gmail.com, right? You got to spell JayDreamerZ correctly. I don't know if there's an but just look at my channel. JayDreamerZ.guest@gmail.com. I'm happy to come on to your channels, for 45 minutes, an hour or so, somewhere around there, and discuss all of these strange and interesting theories that are impacting and related to these cyclical apocalypses that we go through. Okay, so have a good night. Happy Friday to everybody. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye.
It's time.